Hey guys, welcome back. In previous lectures, we have seen what is SonarQube and how to install SonarQube. Next, understanding the SonarQube GUI. In this lecture, again, I'm trying to show you how to install SonarQube, but it is a little bit different. Why? Because whenever you install SonarQube, by default, it is going to use default database. But in this case, I'm going to create a database as a separate one. Why? Because in production ready environments, that is how we need to set it up. I have already done similar kind of video for the around SonarQube version 6.x, but now they have done some changes and they withdrawn the support for the MySQL databases. That is the reason I'm trying to create this document once again. At this moment, SonarQube is supporting only for MySQL Server, Oracle, and PostgreSQL databases. So in this case, we are going to see how to set up SonarQube with the PostgreSQL. And these are the instructions which we need to follow. But before that, I have already explained this diagram in our previous lecture. But let me quickly explain. So there is a sonar scanner where there is a sonar scanner is kind of agent for your SonarQube server, and it resides on the system where you have a source code. So it runs the source code. It runs the analysis on source code and generate a report. This report it is going to share with the SonarQube and it stores in the database. Whenever whenever you want to retrieve the database, you are going to use the search server like Elasticsearch to retrieve the data in the web server. That is how it works. So the major components on this one is a web server and Elasticsearch and the database. So these are the three major components we are having on the SonarQube. Now we are going to use these two as one server. Now we can set up these two in one server and this one in setup and this one in the separate system. But for this demo, I'm setting up all this in the same system. However, I'm going to install database separately and install SonarQube separately and will integrate these two. That is what I'm going to do. And the next thing, there are some system requirements which we need to follow, and also some steps we need to follow which are not mentioned in this document. So with all those steps, I have created a separate document in my GitHub repository called DevOps. And if you go here in the integration with this, if you go here, if you see here SonarQube with the database, in this document I kept all the steps. And there is one more document that is set up SonarQube. It is inbuilt database. Okay. Anyway, we have covered this in the previous lectures. Now it's time to cover this one. Let's go inside. And I have set up all the steps which we need to follow. First thing is prerequisites. We need an EC2 instance. This time we are going to use the Ubuntu system with the T2 small. Why? Because we need 2 GB RAM minimum. Next, install Java 11. So to install Java 11, we can use this one, and to list out and to install. So first we need to update. To install Java, first we need to update. Then we can check for the OpenJDK and install OpenJDK. Next, these steps I have copied from the PostgreSQL official website. So these are the steps to install Postgre database. Okay, this is to add the repository and key. Once that is done, we can install the Postgre database. After that, we should create password for the user. Whenever we install database, it will create a user called Postgres, and we are setting up the password for that. After that, we need to create a database and a database user where we are going to grant access to the database. In this case, we are creating a SonarQube as a database and Sonar as a database user. After that, we need to restart our PostgreSQL services so that it will take effect. Next, PostgreSQL PostgreSQL is going to run on 5432 port. You can just check it out by using the netstat-tulpn. If it is not working, if it is not working, use this command to install netstat. Use this command to install netstat. After that, remaining steps I have copied from the SonarQube official documentation. So we need to do some system configuration changes, that is /etc/sysctl.conf. So these are the number of files, ulimits, all this stuff. And also we need to add the limits. Once this is done, we need to reboot our system to take it effect. It is not going to take effect immediately. After that, this procedure is to download SonarQube and set it up. So these are the steps to download And I was discussing about the Sonar properties file in our previous lecture, where we need to update the username and password and some of the other information we should update. And this is actually talks about the database. If you have a database in our local system, you can use the local host, and if it is in another system, you need to specify the another system with the port number so that it can able to connect with your database. All right. After that, to run SonarQube as a service, this is the file we just need to create. It is a extra step, I can say. Otherwise, you need to go to this location and you can execute it. And one more thing is, this is what we need to concentrate. If we are going to download it under OPT and we are not renaming it to SonarQube, it doesn't work as expected. Maybe I will explain while doing it. Okay, for now, let it be. And at last, what we need to do is we need to give ownership to the our SonarQube directory to the Sonar user. Why? Because we should not run SonarQube service as a root user. That is what we told, and we have encountered an issue with the Elasticsearch as well when we were doing the SonarQube setup in our previous lectures. Okay, at last we are going to reload and we'll start the SonarQube service. So for this, we need an EC2 instance, that to Ubuntu system. Why? Because the steps which we are following over here are belongs to the Ubuntu operating system. So let's go here and start setting up a Ubuntu system. And I'm choosing the Ubuntu system. And this time this is T2. Why? Because we are going to use it for the SonarQube as well. It requires the 2 GB RAM. And the name SonarQube I'm giving. Okay, there could be another server with the SonarQube name. And select the security group, not this one. Yep, SonarQube server, and launch it. All right, so it may take a while. Meantime, what I will show you is, okay, in case if you are encountering any issue while following these steps, you just need to cross check these steps. That is, you should open the port number 9000 in the security group, which I have already done, and start the SonarQube service as a Sonar user. In this case, Sonar is the user, and use the correct database credentials in the Sonar properties. And this is use, not user. Use instance which has at least 2 GB of RAM. All right. So I hope this system could be ready by this time. Let's connect to the system, copy the public IP and SSH. Let me load the key pair and Ubuntu. Okay, username is Ubuntu for the Ubuntu system. All right, I have connected to this system and clear the screen. Let me become a root because we are doing administrative activities, and go back to our documentation. So we need to install Java. So this is before installing Java, this is to update. All right, updation is completed. Now I'm going to install Java apt list, which will show you the, I think, all the files. Out of this, we are going to grep Java OpenJDK 11, right? Okay, OpenJDK -11. Yep. So OpenJDK -11. Among this, we are going to use the OpenJDK 11 JDK. JDK nothing but Java Development Kit. Usually it is necessary if you are doing the development. But for us, JRE is sufficient. But however, if you install JDK, it automatically brings the JRE as well. So let's install JDK. apt install. Yes to install. All right, Java installation is completed. Next thing is we need to install PostgreSQL. So let's go back, and these are the steps to install PostgreSQL. First thing is we are adding the repository, then adding the key. Next we are updating our system with the latest files, then install the PostgreSQL. Okay, that's it. Let's copy it and go to the system and install it. Alright, database installation is successful. You can cross-check your database by using systemctl status PostgreSQL. Okay, it is active now. Now, next thing is we need to do some modifications. Next thing, we need to create the database. Before that, if you see the next thing is we need to create a database for SonarQube. Before that, we just need to see the user which is created by the Postgres database, that is Postgres. And I am going to set up the password for this and Postgres. I have given DevOps at 123 anyway. So now password has been obtained, and let's switch to PostgreSQL user. Now we are going to create a database user. The database username is user. Now we are going to create a database user. Database user can be anything. We can use the Sonar admin or Sonar anything. So in this case, I'm using Sonar. Okay, create user. So as a database user, I'm creating a user, that is Sonar. Once you have created, you can switch to the PSQL to jump into the database. And here we need to create tables and grant ownership to the Sonar user. So what does it mean? That first thing, we are adding the Sonar as a admin user in the database level. We are giving the password for the SonarQube user as a admin, that is encrypted. Then we are creating a next we are creating a database with SonarQube. Next, we are creating a database as a SonarQube, and owner is Sonar, and we are granting all privileges on the database to the SonarQube and to date. Next, we are going to grant all privileges of a SonarQube database to Sonar user. Okay, that is the meaning. Let's copy this and create this database. Okay, I think double time it got copied anyway. So we have granted access. That's it. Next thing, we just need to restart our we just need to restart our Postgres database. So we need to just restart our PostgreSQL. So let's, oops. Okay, restarted. And if we want to see the, oops, not here. I need to come out from the database and let's restart. Oops, even not as a user, we need to run it as a root user. Okay, we just restarted it. Now if I check the status, okay, it is running. So now it is running. So now it is running. Let's go back, and next thing is we need to do some operating system level modifications for that. Yeah, one last thing is we need to check that whether it is running on port number 5432 or not. Only thing is netstat -tulpn. Okay, if it is not working, it is clearly giving the instruction. Okay, by using this one, you can install the netstat command. Next, if I run the same command now, you can see your database 5432, it is running on. So PostgreSQL is running on 5432. All right. Next, next we are going to do some operating system level changes. So we just need to copy it, and if you want to know more about it, just copy this URL and you can see all the requirements over here. Hardware requirements is 2 GB and Java 11 is required. And if you scroll down, okay, you can see here, you can set this dynamically. This is dynamically. However, we need to keep it as a permanent. That's the reason I am updating in the /etc sysctl.conf file. Similar way, these also. So I'm updating in this file. All right, let's go and do that one. VI. So sorry, here, right? This is the file. And Shift G, I'm just going to end of this one and insert mode. Now copy the values, and save this file. Similar way, we are going to update the limits files, vi/etc security limits, shift G O, and copy the values which we need to update and save this file. That's it. And to make it effect, we need to reboot it. So init 6 I'm giving. Init 6 is a command to reboot your system. Even reboot also could work. Depends upon the Linux operating systems. Once our system is up, we are going to set up the SonarQube. So meantime, you can download the SonarQube from here. So if you click over here, I think I have already explained in our previous lectures that, okay, we have different editions. We are going with the community edition. Why? Because it is free and open source. And remaining, you can still use it by enabling the free trial. So this is the LTE version, long-term support. So we are going to use the long-term support one. Sorry. Cancel. So I will just copy it into my clipboard. So let's go back. I think our system might be up by this time. So it's still coming up. All right, so it's up now. Let me become a root again, clear the screen, and cd opt. So for under opt nothing is there. So wget and the link. All right, we have downloaded it. Let's extract it. Sorry, gunzip, not even gunzip, unzip, unzip SonarQube. Okay, unzip is not installed. apt install unzip. Now let's run it again. And I'm going to rename it. This is what we are going to talk. Okay, let it be for now. And let's go here. Okay, now we need to update the SonarQube JDBC user. Okay, you know, right? Username and password. Let's go and connect with this system. That we need to update under conf directory. So we have a sonar.properties, just editing, and by default all the parameters are commented out, so I'm uncommenting this. So username is, we have created it as a sonar, right? And password is admin. Okay, if you do remember, those information we have specified over here. Okay, create user, this is database user, and password. Okay, once that is done, we need to update this parameter as well, JDBC URL. This is where we need to specify our database. And if you come down little bit, okay, you can see here PostgreSQL. Okay, PostgreSQL 9.3 or later, PostgreSQL 9.3 or greater, we should use it. Okay, anyway, we are using around 12, I think. I missed to show you that, but anyway, you just need to uncomment it. And another thing is, our database is located in our local system. That is the reason we need to specify it localhost. If it is in another system, we need to specify the IP address of another system. That is the only change. And this current schema is not required, just till SonarQube is sufficient. And one last thing is, This is MySQL, and let me search one last parameter, that is sonar search. Okay, so slash, yep, this is where we need to do and comment it. That's it. Okay, that's it. Now let's save this file. Now what I have done is, in our SonarQube properties, instead of using the default database, you just go and connect with the database which we just created. That's it. Once that is done, okay, we want to add our SonarQube service as a service. So for that one, we need to execute it. I have already done the cat. So it is going to create this file and add this content to that file. So that's what I'm going to do. Before that, let me check this file. Okay, so this file doesn't exist and I'm creating it in one shot. Enter. Okay, now this file has been created and content has been added. And if you see the stuff, we are starting it as a sonar user and group also sonar, and execution start. So where is your sonar.sh? But in this case, our directory name is sonarcube -8.9.2 slash so and so dot so and so. So this we need to change it as a just sonarcube. Then only it will be possible to start. Otherwise, you need to give this name in this location. Okay, either way does work. And if you go come out, I mean to say, if you come out from the conf directory and if you do ll and go to bin, here we have a linux and ll. So this is where we have a sonarcube.sh is there. If you do the pwd, so this is the path you need to mention here. Okay, but here just sonarcube is there. So to make it aligned, what I will do, I will go to opt and I will move this one to just to SonarQube, so that it will be aligned with the what information we have provided in the exec start and stop location. Okay, that's it. And one last thing we need to do is giving the ownership of this /opt SonarQube to sonar user. What I am doing is user add. I am creating a user called sonar. While creating, just to make the /opt SonarQube as his home directory. -d nothing but a directory. That is one thing I am doing. So I have done that. And we need to give ownership. Still it is owned by the root only. If you check ls-l, sorry. Okay, you can see still it is owned by the root ch own -r sonar :sonar on opt. Okay, now if I check, it should be owned by the sonar user. That's it. Now let's start the SonarQube. So before that, we just need to reload the daemon and systemctl start sonarcube.service. Okay, so there is a typo. Let me copy it here. Systemctl start sonarcube.service. Okay, so let's enter. And if I check now, maybe you might be think that okay, I'm starting it as a root. No, because we have updated in the configuration that whoever starting it, it has to start with the sonar user only. So now ps-ef grep sonar, if I search, yes, it started. And if you see the user, it is sonar user. And also netstat -tulpn, it should be running on port number 9000. Yes, it's running. And let's connect to our database, sorry, SonarQube server. Okay, what is our EC2 instance IP? This is the public IP :9000. All right, it is getting ready. Once it is ready, we are going to set up the password and we'll see. Nice. Now give the username as a admin, password also admin, and no need to save. Let's change the admin password. Okay, that's it. We have set up the SonarQube, and this one I have already explained to understand the SonarQube console in our last video. If you haven't checked it, please go and check it out. And in next video, I'm going to integrate this SonarQube server with the Jenkins so that you can understand how we can run the projects from the Jenkins. And also in our previous lecture, we have seen how to integrate SonarQube with the Maven as well, right? All right, so that's all for this lecture. I hope all right, that's all for this lecture. I hope you found this video valuable. Okay, that's all for this lecture. Okay, that's all for this lecture. I hope you found this valuable. That's all right. That's all for this lecture. I hope you found this video valuable. Please show your support by subscribing to our channel or give a thumbs up if you like this video. And we like to hear you. Please comment out in the chat window if you have any questions. Thank you. See you in the next video.